Well, let's go to Melbourne now, where we're joined by our reporter Abby Dinham. Good evening, Abby. You're at a vaccination hub, which the government's designated as a venue for its 5-day blitz. Tell us how all of this is going to work.
Good evening, Janice. Well, from tomorrow, they're going to establish express lanes so that aged care and disability workers won't have to join the end of the queue at vaccination hubs like this. They'll be given priority access between the hours of 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. That starts tomorrow and will end on Sunday. Now, these express lanes will be in place at 10 vaccination hubs around the state, both in the CBD and regional areas like Traralgon, Bendigo, Wodonga. Staff presenting will have to show proof that they do work in the sector, and they'll be eligible for both Pfizer and AstraZeneca depending on their age bracket. Now, this is just the state government's latest push to bring this outbreak under control and get Victoria out of lockdown. The city deserted, hope fading on day 5 of the so-called circuit breaker that this lockdown will be lifted on time.
I think it's probably extended another week.
Necessary trade-off for public health.
What's going to happen in a month's time when the flu's rampant in Melbourne? We're going to shut down for the flu as well.
The Victorian government giving no indication restrictions will ease on Thursday.
We are not yet in a position to make that call.
There's more work to do.
3 new locally acquired cases taking the outbreak to 54. 2 were close contacts, the other under investigation. Health authorities concerned infections are resulting from fleeting contact in public spaces.
We now have at least 4 instances in this cluster of 54 where people who are unknown to each other before, during and after have clearly transmitted to each other.
Around 330 public exposure sites now listed, including busy shopping centres in the CBD and northern suburbs.
Our public health team are currently weighing up whether there is still coronavirus circulating in these communities.
No additional cases at Arcare Maidstone, where 2 staff and a resident tested positive. One woman telling SBS she's relieved her grandmother hasn't been infected after she was overlooked for a vaccination.
She will be fine this time, but of course that is only because of luck.
The Health Service Union claiming staff have been pressured by management to come in when they should be isolating.
It's very unfortunate that staff have actually been feeling intimidated.
Arcare denying the claims, saying it's not pressuring anyone to work and has implemented a range of measures to protect team members, residents and families. Over 4,800 primary close contacts have been identified with the cluster and instructed to quarantine, but the state government says not everybody is following orders, with compliance check discovering at least 8 people not at home.
They're all being followed up through our enforcement division.
ADF personnel brought in to assist with the door knocking as the state government refuses to rule out another ring of steel separating Greater Melbourne and regional Victoria.
At the end of the day, checking a car and making sure that that person has a legitimate reason doesn't mean they're not carrying the virus.
Leaving the fate of the statewide lockdown at this stage unknown.
And SBS has spoken with the granddaughter of an Arcare aged resident who wasn't vaccinated, despite her family giving their consent. Arcare has since apologised for the error. Read the full story by SBS Italian on our website.